Alright, so I've got the interface connected to the port under the dash. Got the program started. So what you're going to do is, when you first start the program, of course you got to configure the COM ports and all that. Mine's configured, so I'm going to just click connect, and as you can see it connects, and then it'll start reading in the information. And I'm just going to go through a lot of things real quick here. It's got a PID monitor, which you can have some settings adjusted. I've got it go at the fastest rate it can. These can be problems with some vehicles, some computers, some interfaces. You might need to slow that down. You can check the priority on this. It's quite a long list here. There's the freeze frame. I'll go into that in just a minute. As you see, it's got a full set of codes in here, and you can set the priorities, which one when it's getting the information. All of it doesn't just happen instantaneously at microseconds. It's true with anything. Generally, you can set up how the screen and everything looks. Your fuel setup on this Mercedes, of course, it's got a mass airflow, so I have that set, and we'll get some more into the fuel shortly. Tells info about the car, about the unit. Not about the car. This isn't about the car. It's about the unit. And we have an about here, which is a great thing that's about this update. It'll automatically update the software, which is online. It's called OBD Wizard, or ODB Wiz, and you can click update here. It'll connect internet, download, and get the latest version out. Now into the stuff that's really interesting, repair stuff. Again, I just put the math in this car, so I should come up and show some codes here. And it's reading the codes. And here's the codes I had. It's a 170, a 173, and I've got a 100, which is the mass airflow. Again, I just replaced it, haven't cranked the car, done anything. Now here's something that I really like about this program. It's got freeze frame. What this does, I'll pull up the freeze frame, and it's going to tell me the exact conditions in the car when it got the air code. So no matter what the codes is, it's going to tell you what the RPM is, the settings. So here, it was in closed loop using oxygen. The value for the 170. It's got the load value. It was at 14.9%. The coolant, it was at 192.2. It's got the short term, the long term values that it was set here when the error occurred, the manifold pressure, engine RPM, so it was idling when this happened, engine speed 0. So this is a great feature in my opinion, and something that you can't get with the ones that don't connect up to the computer. Those values, let's say the value you wanted is not there. Well, you can choose other values in here. Console feature, the car's not started right now, these are static values. Here's a console where you can actually come in. It's like command line interface. I haven't used that. I'm not smart enough to use that. Here it's where it's pulling the raw data actually from the vehicle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and reset these trouble codes, since that's what I was going to do anyway. And I'll get on to another couple of things. Again, the freeze frame I think is very important, and it's a great troubleshooting code. So I've got those reset. Now I'll go to the other tab over here, the monitors, which is really cool. It shows where you're at, and if you're ready for emissions testing. This shows it's had those codes. The mill light's on. I haven't recycled the car, so it's going to stay on. The vehicle is not ready for emissions testing, so it tells you all these things. The oxygen sensors. It'll read the oxygen sensor values. You can do this real time, and I'll show you that a little bit later in graphing it on. So, but it's a real handy tool. Again, it takes time to read it. Again, reading the computer and the car, they're not instantaneous. I'm sure in your vehicles it's probably a lot faster. Onboard monitoring. So again, it'll read the values and it's reading the data. Your vehicle information. It'll tell you about the information on the vehicle. Here it's got a dashboard. So this is stored information on this vehicle. It stores in the software my total miles per gallon I was getting, the last mile per gallon the trip the car was started, distance it was drove. Tells me the RPMs, the temperature, mile per hour. That's just something to play with, and you can do more with that. Here's the part that I used that I really like, and it's helpful for troubleshooting. This shows a strip chart. Obviously the car is not running right now. I've got it set where I've got engine RPM, intake manifold pressure, mass airflow rate, absolute throttle pressure, ignition timing cylinder 1, intake air temp, short-term fuel for both banks, and that's all I have it set for. Now here's the really cool thing about it, or one of the other cool things about it. You have a ton of parameters. You can see I have them checked here. You have a ton of parameters you can check and graph in real time while the vehicle is driving, and I'll start it up here in a moment and show you that. I'm not going to make any changes here. You know, you got your fuel economy, you know, just pretty much anything you can do. What's good about that is, obviously, if you have a miss, and let's say in my case it's a MAF, and the RPM changes, well, I can look at this graph and see that my short-term fuel efficiency changed before the MAF arc changed, maybe before the RPM changed. So that helps. Here's the other good thing. Data logging. You can record all of this and come back and look at it later with this program, or in, you know, comma separated values, and look at it in Excel or whatever. So that is really, really good. This is telling information about the car, also stats, mins and maxes. So you can go in and look here. And then of course your trip stats, which, as I recall, might have the fuel economy in it. And you can go back and look for the past month. And so I've got some data in here. Again, I've been troubleshooting this car, so a lot of things are reset, so everything might not be set up here. So, I mean, for $25 to $40, I don't think you can really go wrong with this, and you can get the software, keep it updated online. I'm going to go ahead and reset the car here, turn it off and turn it back on so my check engine won't be off. Sometimes it'll stay reconnected and it won't. And I start the car, and it's cold. It hasn't been running any today. And as you can see here, you know, it's showing the engine RPMs, manifold intake, absolute pressure. It's showing all these values, and you can go ahead and look at this real time. And, you know, you can graph it and come back and look at it later, drive down the road and look at it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Sometimes I get wordy. But I really highly suggest this program over just a standalone checker. And thanks for all the help on here, guys. I mean, without you, I wouldn't have been able to do as much with this car as I have. Have a good day. Bye.